Today I want to do a follow-up to our last discussion, which is really addressing the struggle that the betrayed spouse has on how to see their unfaithful spouse, especially early on. And I will be real honest with you, there's a lot of power in the unfaithful's camp on how they can help their betrayed spouse's opinion or view about them. Now, I can hear you already. The unfaithful says, I don't have any power right now. She sees me or he sees me as a liar, a cheater, an unfaithful, expletive after expletive about how they probably see you right now. But I had this long talk with Samantha, and Samantha said to me, I hadn't even gotten the question out fully of, what helped you stop seeing me this way? I mean, she cut me off, and I'll tell you the answer in a minute. But I really want to appeal to you, unfaithful. You have more power than you think in terms of affecting the way your spouse sees you. Now, it's complicated because there's a lot going on. The backdrop is anger and borderline hate and resentment and a struggle to absorb what's going on. And then here's the unfaithful, which is your world is circling as well, and you're trying to absorb the fact that what you've been trying to hide for days, months, weeks, years has now come out. And so there is this complete shock and awe that you both are experiencing. But I know one of you asked me this, and I'm very confident that if one of you are asking me this, there's so many more that need help for this question. And I'm going to be a bit humorous, but here's what I would tell you, the unfaithful, on how to help change your betrayed spouse's perception of you. I'll borrow a line from Jerry Maguire where he says, show me the money. Let me just tell you, show me or show your spouse the changes. If you want them to see you differently, show them the changes that's going on. Now, Samantha told me when I asked her this question, she said to me, it was how quickly you changed and how quickly you prioritized recovery and recovery work. Now, before you run off into the perception of me being so proud of myself and self-righteously congratulating myself on my awesome recovery, no. I was a complete train wreck. But the truth was, when everything came out, there was a part of me that was relieved, and there was a part of me that said, okay, thank God, it's out. But Samantha wasn't feeling that way. Samantha was angry and pissed and struggling and raging. And so one of the first things that she said to me that helped her feel as though her perception, her new perception of me was changing was the fact that I was making so many changes early on. I was doing recovery work. I was reading the Bible 2 hours a day. I was seeing Rick once a week at times. We went to an EMS weekend, but I was doing recovery work passionately. I will tell you, if you're an unfaithful spouse and you want to alter the way your spouse sees you, show them the changes that you are making. I used to tell kids early on when I was a children's pastor, I would tell them, stop telling your parents how great your faith is, and stop telling your parents how much you love Jesus and all these things that God has done for you if they won't listen to you. Go home and clean your room. Go home and do your homework without having to be told. Go help around the house. Go do the dishes. Stop talking and start doing. And I'll say the same thing to you, unfaithful spouse, graciously. Stop talking about your recovery work and do recovery work. If you subscribe to faith, read the Bible, go to church, man, make it a diligent point to pray every day and cultivate a prayer life and a devotion life and buy some Christian books and pour into them. If you don't subscribe to faith, do recovery work. Go buy recovery books. Email in the website for suggestions. Find people to get into your life to hold you accountable. Do recovery work. Don't talk about it, do it. Now, there is an element that I want to tell you that there is a point where you do have to talk. There would be moments, and my mentor taught me this. He said, be ready, don't talk, shut your mouth, do recovery work, but be prepared for when Samantha feels safe enough to engage you on an engageable level, you better be ready to talk about what is going on in your heart. And so I I had to really prepare myself. And there would be moments periodically where Samantha would be having a good day or a decent day, and she would want to talk, and she would say, "So, what are you feeling? What's going on in your head?" Ding, 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 ding. At that moment, I had better be ready. And there were several times that I wasn't, and I only had to screw that up a couple of times before I knew I'll never do that again. So when we had these moments, I would say, I have been really experiencing an understanding of how deeply I've hurt you and how unsafe you probably feel and how you probably feel A, B, and C. Those were money-making moments. Those were the ace of spades moments. Those were the blackjack moments where 21, I can't underscore enough that those moments did some supernatural work inside of Samantha, that she would, on a gracious level, want to connect. And I had already been ready to share with her what I felt like God was saying to me, what I felt like the recovery books were saying to me, what I was learning about myself, what I was learning about life, what I was seeing about my recovery. I had stuff already prepared that would come out of me that helped her feel safe. Now I'll throw a caveat. I had to be very careful, because if it sounded too smooth or if it sounded like just this script that I was reading off, she couldn't believe it. But I would pray, I would ask God, and I would even be very strategic and calculated in the way that I would say to her some things that I didn't want them to be scripted. So sometimes I would open up a journal and I would say, so she knew that I had already had forward thinking about it. I had prepared beforehand with some information to read her so that she didn't think that I was just giving a script. You see, if you're serious about recovery, it's going to be noticed. If you are passionate about getting healthy, ultimately it's going to begin to flow out of you. You see, I think the biggest piece to the puzzle is the safer Samantha felt with me, the more her view of me changed, the more that her anger softened, the more that her rage decreased, the more that she began to see me compassionately and even lovingly and even mercifully. As you, the unfaithful, become safer, you are going to directly change the way that your betrayed spouse sees you. Are you safe for them to be angry with? And there's boundaries. If they're throwing things and physical violence, that can't go on. But are they going to be able to be angry with you? Are they going to be able to talk about their pain and their hurt, and you're not going to hunker down in shame and say, I don't want to talk about it, I can't talk about it, and no more, no more, no more? Are you going to be able to say, you know what? You must have felt this, and you must have felt that, and what an idiot I was. As you become safer, you are changing slowly but surely, because it is a process. You are transforming the way that they're going to see you, and one day you're going to be amazed that they see you in such a light, and you're almost going to feel guilty because you're like, yeah, but I was a worthless piece of crap, and they see you so wonderfully. I will tell you, there's times where Samantha will say some great things about me, and I kind of go, oh, that's not me. I'm still just an idiot, and I still just feel like, man, I still have struggles sometimes. And she says things about me that I'm like, man, I don't even know if I believe that it sounds so good. I'm joking. But there will be those moments. So work hard. Do recovery work. You as an unfaithful have power to change the way your betrayed spouse will see you. Maybe not now if it's early on, but slowly but surely it'll pick up momentum and it will change, and there will be true transformation to the way they see you. They won't always see you the way that they see you now if you will do everything that you can to experience change and transformation.